Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of No More Kids and Scientology. Well, guys, hope everyone is having a good morning. We're going to be discussing here Chester Bennington's son speaking out against Emily Armstrong's replacing his dad in Lincoln Park. And it's going to be very interesting to continue to contextualize what is not making any sense. So since things are not making sense, it's time to start pulling strings and find out why they're not making sense. So I really want to share this outcry from his son here, and then let's react on the other side as he discusses how he feels about it.
Benington's son has spoken out against Emily Armstrong joining Linkin Park as the lead vocalist. Chester's son, Jamie Benington, who is age 28, has now said that he is against Emily joining the group and has said it's disrespectful. He first shared a screenshot of Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda, who left a message defending Emily, which said, "Many people will take time to wrap their heads around us with her. If people are..."
So first of all, this is a 28-year-old that I have so much respect for him. I have so much respect with the type of integrity that he is confronting Mr. Shinoa, because Mike does need to be confronted. In the statement that Mike posted defending Emily, he says, "Many people will take time to wrap their heads around us with her. If people are respectfully not there yet, I'm totally fine with that. But disrespect me and you lose my respect in return." Really, Mike Shinoda, that's how you really want to, what? Are we in a cult? Because this is giving cult wannabe leader. This is giving, oh, if you don't like what I say, then you are my enemy. This is giving us versus them mentality. So I guess Emily is rubbing on you a lot more than meets the eye. Because that's what this statement is giving to me. Many people will take time to wrap their heads around us with her. If people are respectfully not there yet, I'm totally fine with that. But disrespect me and you will lose my respect in return. The disrespect is you not having done a shred of due diligence for yourself, Mike. So, I mean, and that's literally putting it lightly, you guys, because apparently they go back years and years and years back. So this idea that Mike Shinoda doesn't know what Scientology is, we cannot report that he is a Scientologist, but I can report that he's not against it. Because as we said yesterday, the so-called technology of L. Ron Hubbard, so-called potential trouble source, that's what they label you at the hotel. If anybody has a problem with you being in Scientology, if any mentions anything negative, any comment that Mike Shinoa could have said to Emily, I think that Scientology is weird, then Emily is immediately a potential trouble source. Emily has to report to the hotel, oh, I have a connection with Mike Shinoda and he's saying that Scientology is weird. I'm going PTS. I'm going potential trouble source. I'm going to cause an accident. I'm going to get ill. I'm going to roll a coaster. So given the fact that we now do know that Mike Shinoa and her go back to years and years and years of knowing each other, working together, and really rubbing elbows with each other, then Mike Shinoa is very, very not against Scientology. So we don't know if he's taking the courses. We don't know if he's getting audits. We don't know if he's getting ethics handlings, but we do know that he has no problem with that whatsoever. He's all about it. He's not a problem. Oh, Emily, do it. Save a world. Your mother saving a world? Great. Wonderful. Mike continues, I understand this. We need to give space for everyone who is shocked. Processing it is difficult. Yeah, very, very difficult given who you literally posted to replace and take the lead role on vocals that don't make any sense. Emily is singing, not because she cannot sing, because she's not singing what those lyrics meant to the person who was singing them. That's what's so egregious about this. Seeing me and Emily together, shoulder to shoulder, brought up so many feelings for people in our crew and management, happy and sad at the same time. So complex. Me as well. Yeah, but you know what is not that complex, Mike? Is the history of Scientology that's all over the public record that you could just literally Google and, you know, get some info. Because again, the era to play dumb, the era to go, oh, I had no shred of a clue. No one ever said that these hotels were abusing children, something that Chester was standing up for, that you should know that. In what world do all the fans know connected to Chester understood that he was coming from an authentic place? That was what was incredible about his concerts. That was what was incredible on a fan base that did connect because he was a lifeline to so many survivors of unthinkable abuse. So again, we are not going to respect something that is so disrespectful. If you don't have the self-awareness to understand that, then I guess there's more here that meets the eye, because in what world is this the statement that you put out?
People are respectfully not there yet. I'm totally fine with that, but disrespect me, and you will lose my respect in return. We need to give space for everyone who is shocked and processing. It is difficult. Seeing me and M together, shoulder to shoulder, brought up so many feelings for people in our crew and management. Happy and sad at the same time. So complex. Jamie Benington then responded to Mike's message by saying, hey Mike, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their heads around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They are.
See, guys, no one had a problem with them reinventing themselves. No one had a problem with them going back and connecting with a fan base that is being helped by incredible artistry. Art is healing. There is therapy in art. So many of us, and all of you keep sharing this with us in our comments, it's like, you know, not only the kids that were growing up in Scientology have had a horrific childhood. And that's what we get from coming on YouTube and connecting and reading your comments and seeing that the pain and the suffering and the unthinkable abuse you can find at every corner of the world. There's so much of this. So, yes, we are all suffering together. We're all literally utilizing art to heal us, to get us through the toughest moments of our lives. Art was our lifeline. Listening to music was the only thing that was oxygenating inside of that disgusting, depraved L. Ron Hubbard hotel that was ridden with child abuse. All video recorded. Child abuse that was video recorded. So for any Scientology parent that wants to play dumb, it was video recorded. For any Scientology executive that would love to play dumb in the year 2024, you recorded the child abuse. That's called acting with impunity. That's called you are keeping evidence of abuse that you are performing in real time. And that's why all the Scientology people are being called out. If you are a consenting grown adult, paid member of a hotel, because for the 10th billion time, all the religious people out there can really come and tell us, the kids that grew up in that hotel, if you all have paid memberships to your churches. That's the key difference that I really want to understand from all the other people, are you forced to buy a membership? Because in Scientology, you are forced. You cannot not be a paid member. Otherwise, you can't do any of the services. So, yes, paid memberships is what these people have. Grown adults that are consenting, paying memberships to get indoctrinated on the rhetoric a convicted felon pitched, and then for them to go and role play it on kids, unsuspecting kids that have no clue what is being done to them. All they have is grooming. All we had was grooming with dolls, grooming with teddy bears in courtrooms. What type of religious activity takes place when a teddy bear is being groomed with a child to really normalize this level of disgusting interrogations that play out in the hotel 24/7, 365, every day of the week? Children are being subjected to this, and everyone is just okay with this, including the IRS, who gives all those people that go get those level of interrogations inside of the hotel a hefty tax write-off. So this could be more aided and abetted by all the American public that are allowing this to be. It's all of that. It's all of that that needs to be confronted on its face. It's all of that you, literally Mike Shinoa, has to start answering up for, given that, yes, Emily is a paid member of that hotel. Everybody has to have a paid membership. Everybody does. You cannot be exempted from it. So a paid membership is tantamount to funding and consenting and approving and endorsing what gets done in that hotel. And we've already said it a million times. The day Emily wants to come out and actually put out statements that are not sanitized, OSA approved statements, then she can actually start connecting with her public. Meanwhile, she is a phony, and that's what's being called out. So, yeah.
They are having a hard time wrapping their head around how you firstly hired your friend of many years, Emily Armstrong, to replace Chester Bennington, knowing
your friend Emily of many years, you guys. So in what world is the son of Chester knowing that Emily has been a friend of Mike for years? I mean, this wasn't just a hire out of nowhere, is what is being contextualized now. Even though they coming out with this new work, they kept everything under wraps to so-called be very careful on the rollout of what they were doing. And that is also what makes no sense. Had they even put it out to be, hey, is this even a possibility? They would have gotten the immediate feedback. They would have been forced to do due diligence on Emily. They would have been forced to not disrespect the bandmate that they are purporting that they really wanted to respect. But we're really seeing that gaslighting all between the lines right about now is becoming very clear, to be honest.
knowing Emily's history in the church and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson is.
And again, here's Chester's son literally telling us, knowing Emily's histories in the cult of Scientology and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson. So damn, apparently you did know, Mike Shinoa, that Emily was an ally, that Emily showed up for the prelims. And in her tone-deaf, distancing language statement, apology from hell that she put out for herself, she talks about how, she really did find out once the information, she went to a prelim to harass and intimidate. No one even is saying, has she even gone there and just exercised her right to show up at a court? Nobody would even be able to say anything. Anybody has the right to show up there. But it's what they were doing in the hallways. Is that they were going above and beyond just showing up and, oh, I really got to here to be my friend. How many of you have shown up to court to people, and then how many of you take it upon yourselves to go and intimidate somebody in the courtroom? Because you know what? That is actual criminal behavior, to intimidate witnesses, to intimidate victims. It's absolutely illegal. It has no merit for anybody going through a court process their systems. They're supposed to be due process, and that is not what Emily was there for, given that we have first-hand accounts of her intimidation tactics. Emily is the daughter of an OSA operative, the woman that's been spewing all the propaganda, pitching Scientology as some sort of, oh yeah, we're really going to help save our world. Meanwhile, that woman is saving nothing. That woman has her claws wrapped up all over her daughter's grown throat still. She's got her daughter under her thumb. So yes, Emily, we are still advocating for you, for a day for you to wake up, for a way for you to connect the dots. The dots are there to be connected. It's you who makes a choice to play dumb today. Literally, like we're giving it and telling it to you like it is. It's not easy for any of us that have walked out of this disgusting level of dysfunction to start reconciling the truth. You will never know the definition of pain until that day actually hits you. Until you realize, damn, my mother dumped me in the middle of nowhere to have a disgusting childhood, all full knowing. My mother that writes all the pitches about how this is legal, that's illegal, why is the government doing this, why is the government doing that? A woman that had full access to how the world works decided to dump you, to have nothing to do with you being raised, for you to be sleeping in cockroach-infested literal rooms while she was pitching, she was saving our world. So start reconciling who your mother is, because your mother is the one that was used to spew propaganda to get our parents ensnared. So this is personal for the kids that grew up there. Now that we really know who your mom is, now that we really know what your mom has been talking about, and now that we know that Mike Shinoa is also apparently knowing Emily's history in the cult of Scientology and the history as an ally to Danny Masterson. So apparently you, Mike, we're all about knowing it. We're all about thinking it has nothing to do with you. How does it not have anything to do with you? How can you reconcile that today? How do you come up with threatening language that if we don't respect what are we supposed to be respecting exactly? Because what we're calling you out for is disrespecting victims, creating an allyship on a woman that's making choices of her own, given her disgusting, dysfunctional past and how she got to where she is.
Is what it is. Secondly, quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time, not only during a banned interview meant to clear the air about certain aspects.
So apparently you, Mike, also quietly erasing Chester's life and legacy in real time. Not only during a banned interview meant to clear the air, but in certain aspects of
Linkin Park's history and future, but during International Life
Ending Prevention Month. Damn. I mean, again, what in the literal hell, Mike Shinoa, honestly? The son of Chester is calling you out. So, I don't know, you guys. This is not even something that I was aware of. I wasn't aware of that it went further than that. Because we're way beyond the point of really going with, oh, it was all oversight, you know. Oh, he had no shred of a clue that Emily did what she did. Linkin Park PR people are referring the corporate media, the pathetic corporate media that cannot investigate, the pathetic corporate media that keeps just being told and then typing it real quick in their typewriters because they never dig their claws into a story that matters. That pathetic corporate media goes to Linkin Park's PR people that are going, oh yeah, just refer to whatever Emily posted on that story that did disappear. Whatever she said is what Mike Shinoa's PR people are doing and saying. Whatever Emily said is what we say too. So, okay, fine. So then you're all in the same boat. Got it. Got it.
ending prevention month. I'd mention you, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say.
Damn. So I've mentioned you, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say. So this is what we'll have to do. So apparently Mike Sanoa, that, you know, is giving a lot of disconnection vibes. Oh yeah, let me disconnect from Chester's son because I don't like what he's saying to me. I can't take constructive criticism. I can't take another human being's opinion that should be very valuable to you, Mike Sanoa. Should be really, truly valuable to you personally. That the son of somebody that you literally were in a band, and yes, Chester was the lead singer. Yes, he's the one that we connected with. So don't get it twisted. Yes, you were always in the band and you did what you did there, but you know who we did connect to? Chester. So if you're jealous of him, this is the vibes that he's giving. In what world do you block the son from having the capacity to give you feedback because you don't like the feedback? Wow. Literally, wow.
So this will have to do. Thirdly, you have refused to acknowledge the impact of hiring someone like Emily without so much as a clarifying statement on the variety of victims that make up your core fan.
I mean, seriously, guys. I mean, this right here. Let's really actually listen to that again.
Up your core fan base. No acknowledgement of the way you fan base. No acknowledgement of the way you groom your victims that make up your core fan of victims that make up your core fan base.
Sorry, guys. Thirdly, you have refused to acknowledge the impact of hiring someone like Emily without so much as a clarifying statement. We are a core fan base of victims, Mike Sanoa. In what world are you not aware of that fact? Do you not know who your fans are? Serious question. Do you not know who your fans are? Do you not know who's been supporting and buying your music? Because that's why people are incensed. That's why we are all having a problem. And this whole, I mean, now we also know that you've been disconnected, very a la Scientology, very a la OSA handling. Oh yeah, let me just cut you off because you're giving me the feedback that I don't want to hear. Well, you know what? Chester's son is making some really good points. And you should have been well served to listen to his feedback. You should have been well served to not be doing shenanigans on International Prevention Month, for crying out loud. How many more disgusting things do you have to do on the public record? And you don't want to be called out, and you don't want to be told that you're wrong, and you don't want to be told that this is tone deaf, and you don't want to be told that, you know, maybe it's not a good idea to insult your entire fan base that has been supporting you. No clarifying statement, just whatever Emily said, whatever tone deaf apology she wrote, that's what your PR team is telling you to regurgitate. Got it. So are you being also handled by the president's office at Celebrity Center? Yes or no, Mike Sanoa?
That make up your core fan base. No acknowledgement of the way you groom your fan base. Chester Benington, Chester's kids or family. My falling out with your wife, who can't.
No acknowledgement of the way you groom your fan base. Chester Benington, Chester's kids or family. My falling out with your wife, who cannot be mentioned. So I guess it wasn't just you who disconnected from the son. I guess it was also your wife. So in what world is this not giving ethics handling from Scientology? Because again, looks like Emily is rubbing right off on you, your friend of years and years, that apparently is also not really into getting any type of constructive criticism because they just project that it's you who's having a problem. We're not the ones with the problem. And this information about you grooming your fan base, Chester Bennington's, Chester's kids or family, I mean, how are you grooming them, Chester? How were you grooming? I mean, not Chester, you, Mike. How are you grooming them? Because that would be great for you to clarify in your clarifying statement that I guess you don't feel like you want to write. How you disconnected from Chester's son, how your wife also disconnected from him, and how, you know, we're supposed to just fall in line with you because, you know, F us, because you're going to be very, very upset and disrespecting us if we bring up anything to your attention. Constructive criticism based on facts that make no shred of sense. If you have no common sense or self-awareness, double check that you're not reading the L. Ron Hubbard pitches. Double check, make sure that you're not reading any of that rhetoric, because that's what in the hell this is giving. It's giving, oh yeah, I'm so much superior and I don't need to be told anything, and whatever I decide is what goes, and I don't give an F about my fans.
Who cannot be mentioned either, Danny Masterson's victims, or even
Danny Masterson's victims, or even Emily's intimidation of those victims. Your PR team keeps telling the corporate media to refer to Emily's apology. In what world do you think that disgusting apology from hell, that was so completely tone deaf, that was so distancing language from A to Z, from beginning to end, where nothing is mentioned, is just a hogwash generality? How much more do you want to insult our intelligence? Because yes, Mike Shinoa, breaking news to you, we are not kids in adult bodies today. We are adults in adult bodies, and we are seeing straight through the gaslighting techniques, straight through the manipulation techniques, straight through you wanting to play Timu cult leader. Because that's what in the hell this is giving. You're a Timu cult leader right about now, telling everyone to fall in place because, oh, Mike Shinoa has spoken, you guys. Really sit down and really just, you know, process the shock of Emily. Just process it. Go to therapy is what Mike is telling us. Oh yeah, just go to therapy. Process it there because, you know, we don't want to be told anything. We don't want to listen to feedback. And yes, we're cutting out Chester's son because we don't give an F what he has to say. So by all means, explain why this is happening, Mike Shinoa, because this is on you. This is on you. You want to be Timu cult leader? Then go ahead. Fill the seat of Timu cult leader. And now you're going to have to answer to the people that do have questions on what is not making sense about your statement, what's not making sense about cutting out the son of Chester. Is this what Chester really wanted? Just ask yourself that. Just literally go to a mirror, the closest one you have in your multi-million-dollar house, and ask yourself, would Chester want me to cut off his son and pretend he doesn't exist? Answer that question to yourself on a mirror, Mike Shinoa. By all means, just put it out there. Is this what Chester wanted for his legacy? Because y'all could have been literally, like somebody put in the comments the other day, rename yourselves L. Ron Hubbard Way as a band, and then go and play with Emily ad nauseum and don't cover any Linkin Park songs. That's the solution to this. Your L. Ron Hubbard Way, and, you know, good luck selling your CDs and your merchandise because nobody would buy it because of what Emily represents through and through. She couldn't be more implicated up to her neck and ears.
even Emily's intimidation of those victims. And the list goes on and on and on.
And the list goes on and on and on. So imagine this. Imagine this, Mike. Apparently there's more than this, but you know what? Chester's son is, 20-year-old that really is very good at communicating. Succinct points, reasons that you should be taking into account, but apparently, again, playing Timu cult leader, you don't want to be told anything because you know better. You really do know better.
And on. What you've done is not something for people to acclimate to.
That's so key right there, you guys. What you've done is not something for people to acclimate to. I mean, in what world did Mike Shinoa thought, you know who I really need to cut out of my life? Chester Bennington's son, the one that is telling me like it is. He's telling you what you need to hear, Mike. It's you who are running around being infantile, which is literally what happens to all the L. Ron Hubbard zombies that drink that rhetoric. They become infantile, they become self-deluded, they become, we really are the special chosen ones. So given that now that we're actually finding out the context of what you've been putting out, the context of you disconnecting from Chester's son, given that that's what's going on here, that's what we really need to understand. And we are not acclimating to jack nothing. We're going to continue pressing. We're going to continue demanding accountability. We're going to continue to ask you, why is this being done? Why are you disconnecting from Chester's son? Why are you blacking him out? Why is Chester's son saying that you're literally trying to erase his father's legacy? Why is that? Why are those points being raised by him?
It's not a shock that people are just going to have to take time process.
I mean, literally, it's not a shock that people are just going to have to take time, process, and understand. This is not... Chester's passing was a shock that we had to take literally years to process and understand. And you know what? When something so tragic like that happens, you always end up with not being able to completely close that chapter. That's that level of trauma that you can almost barely even process. So yes, Chester's passing is something that we have to acclimate to, for sure. We have no choice. He's not here with us anymore. We're acclimating to that. He is literally having to take the time, the process to try to process that shock. And for you to come in and tell us that we just have to acclimate to everything is you giving us your Timu cult leader orders about how we're supposed to feel. That's what they did to us at the hotel, Mike Shinoa. Just so you know, that's what they did. 24/7, 365 at the hotel. We were told as children how to feel. We were told as children what not to feel. We were told as children that needles floated when self-admitted PDF files said time, place for an event of how they literally did a felony on a child inside of the hotel. So by all means, ask Emily how that works. Ask Emily how the audits work. Stop being so glib. Unless you've already been audited and you already know how the audits work, and you have no problem with children getting the same thing that you get for yourself as a grown-ass adult.
Process and understand. You have betrayed the trust loaned to you by decades of fans and supporting human beings.
You have betrayed the trust loaned to you by decades of fans and supporting human beings, including myself. Trust is loan. Trust is always on loan. You destroy that trust, and guess what? You're not going to have it. You don't just get to reinflate it by gaslighting us, by manipulating us, by giving us your Timu cult leader version of your policy where you tell us how to feel about something that we're calling out in real time with facts. That's what it's called. These are the facts. What Emily is involved in is the choices that she's making today as a grown woman. We've already told you whatever happened to her as a child, she has no responsibility over that. The choices she makes today as a grown woman, including propping up her mother, who writes scripts for David Miscavige. So don't think that, again, Emily Armstrong's mother is not a Team New York member that's at the bottom of the chain doing nothing and just being exploited and abused. Like, they have hundreds of thousands of those. Don't you worry about it. They do have a ton of elderly people that are just exploited and abused in unthinkable ways, but they're at the bottom of the barrel. The problem with Emily's mom is she's at the very top. Working with who? With David Miscavige. You don't know who David Miscavige is? Google it. Have your team Google it. Someone start using modern technology to figure out what in the hell you've done.
Including myself. We trusted you to be the bigger, better person, to be the change, because you promised us that.
We trusted you to be the bigger, better person, to be the change, Mike. Be the change, because you promised to us that that was your intention. So it's giving fraud. This is a fraud vibe that we're getting here. Oh yeah, I really want to do, I really want to be the change, and my intention is to be the change, and my intention is to really, honor your father's legacy. Again, if you wanted to become L. Ron Hubbard Way as a band, that was always available on the table with you. But given the fact that you are exploiting now Chester's legacy, that's not on you to just decide, okay, I just get to do whatever I want, whatever I decide, whatever I think is best for myself. No, sir, you don't get to do that, given the fact that you're giving a microphone to Emily and you're telling her, sing these lyrics. And while Emily screams and rants at that stage, children are getting audited at the hotel. Children are getting ethics handled at the hotel, being told that they're degraded beings, that they're degraded children. The children are told that they're degraded. Mike Shinoa, ask Emily about that. Ask Emily if she was ever told that she was a degraded being for being LGBTQ. Ask her. See what she says. Ask her if she was ever sent to ethics for, showing any signs of LGBTQ-ness inside of the hotels. Ask her if that ever happened to her as a child. Ask her if she had grown adults really asking her to write down every type of sexual activity she ever engaged herself in. Ask her that. Because that was what was being done to all of us as kids inside of the hotel. So guess what? Breaking news to you, we weren't having religious experiences. Contrary to what the pathetic, grifting media that blabs and lies to the American public and sanitizes the hotels where, yes, Emily and her mother are paid members. Oh no, Emily's mom is a volunteer, mind you. She's been volunteering to do this work, to lie, to write propaganda magazines that she spits out to make governmental conspiracy theories, the likes of which make the IRS so shocked and so scared that they said, oh, you know what? If Emily's mom is going to write magazines about us, the IRS, well, you know what? Let's just make it a religion, because you know what? Come to find out, you are really wanting to save our world. You are really a nonprofit. Self-admitted felons in America can circumvent the toothless, pathetic laws by going to a hotel, putting $100,000 on their American Express, and answering the question, have they committed a felony for which they have not been arrested? And including but not limited to self-admit ABCDEFG details of self-admitted felonies, including but not limited to those perpetrated on underage kids, such as myself, such as Miriam Francis, such as many people that have already come up on the record being essayed inside of those hotels. Ask Emily, by all means, if she ever heard of anyone going out to D at the hotel. Ask her with that language. Ask her that. Out to D is the code word that they used to sanitize when they were literally hiding that someone had been essayed at the hotel. So make sure that she really understands the word out to D. Yo, Emily, was any underage kids being out to D inside of the Scientology hotel when you were there? Did you ever hear that rumor? Because you know what? They told us every staff meeting. So in case Emily says, oh no, my mommy got me out of the Sea Org because I didn't want to be in it. Well, how entitled could you have been, Emily? I guess it doesn't suck to be you, because most parents that were in the Sea Org didn't help their children when they didn't want to be in the Sea Org. So if you didn't want to be in the Sea Org, why didn't you want to be in the Sea Org? Why were you cradled and canoodled? Oh, you don't want to be in the Sea Org? Okay, then just go outside of the Sea Org. Oh, let's hook you up with Ben Shulman. Oh, let's hook you up with Danny Masterson. Let's hook you up with all the Hollywood people. Oh, let's hook you up with Susie Flood, father. He's going to fund your career so that you can go and really become this person that your mother is using you to literally create fake influence in the industry, in the world. That's what the Scientology people do. They sell, let's get you famous tickets. Let's really use all the people at the hotels, connections, comm lines is what they call it. Oh, let's get you on their comm lines. So it's all peddling influence. It's all being done with a straight face, and everyone is purporting that all of this is a religious experience that children are having. And yes, Mike Shinoa, you that promised to be the change, I guess you weren't making that change, and you were trusted to be the bigger, better person, and come to find out you're not being bigger or better. And there's no clarifying statement on how this came to be still. You all are acting like it's another day in the neighborhood. According to you, read whatever Emily said, and we don't want to be bothered anymore. Okay.
That was your intention. Now you're just senile and tone deaf.
Now you're just senile and tone deaf. Join the rest of the Scientology parents, Mike Shinoa, because that's the club that you are now belonging inside of. The club of tone deaf, purposely senile adults that ensnare themselves in a hardcore scene that plays out in those Scientology hotels and subjected kids to unthinkable abuses pitched by a convicted felon. Everybody went and did it. Everybody paid to do it inside of those hotels. All Scientologists know exactly what in the hell we're talking about. They couldn't have been more groomed if they were kids to think that this was okay, like Emily, or they couldn't have been more indoctrinated, like Emily's mother, who's a top-level indoctrinator of adults, top editor, typing all the fake pitches about the war on psychology and psychiatry, and mental health couldn't be more of a scam. Again, Mike, go to a mirror and ask yourself, would Chester want me to tap a woman whose mother has written more pages than anyone in this entire world to black PR the F out of psychiatry? And yes, the profession isn't perfect. And yes, breaking news, felons can also infiltrate psychiatry and commit atrocities. But you know what else can happen? People can be psychiatrists and actually follow the laws and the rules and help people. You know what doesn't happen at the hotels? Everybody who joins is abusing kids. Everybody who joins is paying for those kids to be abused. Everybody who joins dumps their kids there and makes them fair game. So yes, in the Scientology parent situationship, there's none of them that can put distancing between that activity based on what they're doing with their choices. So before you want to play dumb again, no more playing dumb. That's what we're talking about today. We are not going to play dumb with you. We are not going to let you get away with playing your Timu cult leader role that you really think you are in. As if we're just what? Your blind followers that have to follow you anywhere as you tap someone that cannot relate to the lyrics of somebody that I guess you don't know who Chester is. I guess all that time you spent with him was wasted. Because if you went, you know who I really need to tap to replace the lyrics that Chester sang? Oh yeah, the one that doesn't believe anything of what Chester stood for. The one that has a mother that is literally on a daily basis compromising all the mandated reporters that children that end up snared at the hotels get no access to anymore. Because what? Our parents were compromised with all the garbage that Emily's mother is spewing about. Oh yeah, really, doctors are very scary. Psychiatrists, don't get anywhere near them because, you know, they're going to strap you to a wall and they're going to abuse you. It's exactly what Emily mom does at the hotels. What all of those adults do to children, lock them up in rooms kidnapped them against their will. That's what happened to us every time they got audited. We were kidnapped. Look up the legal definition of that word. In fact, ask your legal team to look up the definition of kidnapping, and then ask Emily what happens to a kid when they get audited. Ask her. Ask Emily Armstrong, what happens when a child gets auditing Emily Armstrong? If you haven't gotten sessions yourself, Mike, because at this point, we don't know if you got the sessions or not. At this point, you might be one of those in the closet celebrity Scientologists, of which there are many. That a practice got started right when I was at the hotel, you guys. There was 3 auditors, actually 5 auditors. Cage Moore, Cody Moore, Cesar Villaseñor, Alex Tinoco, all of them were celebrity auditors. All of them were being shipped to the mansion of the so-called celebrity, so no one would see them at the hotel. Oh yeah, because this one we really want to keep under the wraps. So before anybody thinks that there's not a ton of celebrities that are in the closet, like we've already spoken about Penelope Cruz being one of them, that everybody thought, oh yeah, she broke up with Tom Cruise. And no, Penelope was still doing services. Penelope's literal husband was being audited on the New Era Dianetics by Cesar Villaseñor. As of recently, well, maybe not recently, as of when I was leaving the hotels back in 2015, but recently there enough. So this program of under the radar celebrities tapping onto the PR machine that Scientology uses to inflict their power on BS Hollywood, CAA is implicated. All the agencies where there's PR people are implicated. They all know Scientology. They all know Scientologists. They all leverage deals between each other. Oh, you really can give me Nancy Cartwright for this? Okay, we'll give you the Hulu special over here. Oh, you really gonna do this for us? Oh, we're gonna leverage this here for us. Oh, we're really gonna lend you Tom Cruise and all of this? Oh, okay, so then you'll do this for us. So Hollywood is in bed with Scientology. They're effing with Scientology with no protection, and now they got STDs all over themselves as they are there enabling everything that happens at the Scientology hotels. As the LAPD is all about it. As the Clearwater Police Department is all about it, all with the false pitch that we've been told it was a religion, so no critical thinking skills are available for American law enforcement or American journalists. So imagine what type of advocacy these kids get. None. And that's why it matters, Mike Shinoa. So by all means, you are just being senile and tone deaf by getting wrapped up in this and then trying to really give us Emily to sing lyrics that meant something when somebody else was actually singing them.
Insane. At this point, I would wager that all you Linkin Park guys know.
At this point, I would wager that all you Linkin Park guys know is disrespect. This is the son that Mike Shinoa disconnected from, him and his wife. That's what's also making no sense here, you guys. That's why it's giving, he must be on some sort of ethics program. He must be with some of the Scientology Emily handlers. Because why would the wife of Mike Shinoa want to disconnect from the kid? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. But all that we know is, yes, we are wagering that all the Linkin Park guys know it's disrespect. So what the hell, man? That's what the facts are. That's what his son says.
Guys know is disrespect. You didn't trick me. I do not support.
You didn't trick me. I do not support. And I mean, that's great, guys, to see how a 28-year-old kid that grew up with a loving father, that has grown up to have to process the level of unthinkable, shocking things that Mike Shinoda is really telling everyone else to really get used to. He's having to process that for himself. His own father isn't here. A father that was loving, a father that showed him to stand up for what is right, not convenient. That's what this moment calls for. Stop literally standing up for what's convenient. Convenient is to play dumb, like Mike Shinoda is doing here with all of us. Convenient is him trying to really put himself as a Timu cult leader, telling everyone how they should feel about what he decided to do, and implicate a legacy that you're not entitled to willy-nilly. Breaking news to you, Mike Shinoda. In case you didn't know, what you built as Linkin Park worked as an entire wheel. The biggest part of that cogwheel broke the day he left this world. And now you put your little Timu version of something that no one can relate to. And again, we feel bad for Emily. We do wish her to cut out her disgusting mother, to wake up to the facts, to go see a real therapist, to start processing her real childhood trauma so that her lyrics are not just vapid yells and screams that mean nothing, because she's just, I guess, really good at acting like she cares, acting like she screams, acting like all these lyrics that she writes about, that you write about. I mean, as if that was not even an insult enough. Sarah, let's look at your latest lyrics, just so that we can really wrap on that, because I couldn't get past the lyrics. The new song called Emptiness Machine. Emptiness Machine. Imagine that. So, Emptiness Machine lyrics, you guys. So, let's really analyze the Emptiness Machine lyrics, where Mike Shinoda goes, "Your blades are sharpened with precision, flashing your favorite point of view. I know you're waiting in the distance just like you always do, just like you always do." Then he goes, "Already pulling me in." Oh, pulling me in. Interesting choice of words. That's what they told us at the hotel every time someone essayed us. "Oh, you're pulling us in." Ask Emily Blunt. Ask Emily what that means. Ask her that blunt question. Emily, what does it mean to pull it in for a child when they get essayed? What does that mean exactly? What is that phrase, pulling it in? Already under my skin, and I know how this ends. Then he goes, Mike Shinoda, let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Interesting. Emptiness Machine. Are you writing this about Scientology? Is that what we don't know? Because that would be great to know. Because that's exactly what they did to us at the hotel when we were children. Cut us open. Everybody watched us bleed. Everybody video recorded it. Everybody transcribed it. And everybody's playing dumb today, pretending that we were having religious experiences as children. Don't know why I'm hoping for what I won't receive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. Yeah. Perfect description for the disgusting Scientology hotel. An emptiness machine. Regurgitating garbage pitch from a convicted felon. Regurgitating garbage pitches from Emily Armstrong's mother about how mental health is all a sham and a scam and no children should ever end up in the hands of a mandated reporter. So, yeah, that's true. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. The emptiness machine, and this is where Emily comes in. She goes, going around like a revolver. It's been decided how we lose. It's been decided how you lose? Yeah, I guess it's true, Emily. because there's a fire under the altar. I keep on lying to. Well, here's your confession, Emily. You keep lying at the altar. You keep lying that you have no shred of a clue what Scientology is when you were exposed as a child. So yes, you're lying at the altar. Yes, you're pretending this is a religious experience that kids are having for themselves today. And yes, you're nowhere on the public record as a grown woman now, on the flip side, denouncing what you saw. Ungrooming yourself, going to therapy to deprogram yourself from all the fake pitches that L. Ron Hubbard spewed, that your mother helped promote. Your own mother couldn't be more up to her neck and ears as one of the instruments of the propaganda. Then she goes, already pulling me in. So again, I guess you pitched this little pulling me in lyric, didn't you, Emily? Because that's what, again, for everybody that doesn't understand, kids are told that as soon as they get essayed, they pulled it in. They made that happen for themselves. That's what the convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard pitched. That's the type of erosion of common sense boundaries between adults and children that play out day and night inside of that disgusting, disturbing environment that the IRS is still telling all American citizens couldn't have been more about charity, guys. That's what Marty Rathbun told us. That's what Mike Rinder told us. That's what Emily Armstrong's mother told us, that they really wanted to, practice a lot of religion and save a lot of things. Already under my skin, and I know exactly how this ends. Then Emily continues, let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. I mean, Emily, how can you be singing these lyrics and being so cognitive dissonant? Because again, yes, it's tough to grow up in those hotels. It's tough to get groomed as a child, to normalize and to think that you are a co-conspirator in the racketeering scheme. You do blame yourself for everything that happened to you as a child in the hotel. But then you do grow up. Then you do assert your sexuality. Then you do start having access to the outside world. So the sham excuses that you have no idea, that you had no clue, that this was all done to you, start to look real weak today in the year 2024. 10 years ago, yes, everybody was bamboozled. Everybody was going with the pitch. Well, it's America and it's real land of wanting to really let people practice whatever they want. Well, that pitch is long and gone. It's America that made child slavery great again by getting the IRS to give self-admitted PDF files all the tax write-offs that were required for none of them to end up in front of a legal process that they were paying to circumvent via American Express. So the crime couldn't be more clear, except all of you play dumb and write lyrics that mean nothing other than just scream as a performance with no real meaning or depth. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. I mean, you're still doing that. You're still doing that today. You've given up who you wanted to be because you're still connected to your child trafficking mother. You're still connected to that propagandist that is using you and your talent that you have outside of whatever Scientology did to you. No one is coming at you for the fact that you sing on a stage. Everybody's coming to you because we can all see that you have not grown a shred of spine because you're just doing what's convenient. As long as you do what's convenient, guess what? You don't change. As long as you do what's convenient, guess what? All the kids continue to get abused because apparently it's not raising a red flag for you. It's not making you want to stop the abuse that you witnessed as a child. So in what world are you really becoming different than the adults that abused you today, Emily? Because that's what we are questioning right now. All the people that were in those hotels getting audits, getting SEC checks, getting ethics handled, getting access to pay for services delivered by underage children, It's y'all's voices that are required to denounce what was done to you. If everybody keeps going with the fake pitch of Scientology couldn't be more scary. It was scary when we were kids. It was scary when we weren't adults. It was scary when we didn't have the FBI on speed dial. It was scary when we didn't have actual attorneys that knew we existed and we couldn't just be disappeared willy-nilly because they would be seeing the wrath of what would happen if they did that. Scientology is aware that we have those sources in our camp today. Scientology is highly aware that we are protected, that we have ways to protect ourselves as adults. Children do not have a shred of protection for themselves. And they're being lied to on a daily basis by all the Scientology L. Ron Hubbard sycophant parents that bring them to the hotel to get groomed and told that they are just little adults themselves and you're just on the same level as everyone else. By all means, start explaining that, because that's what we do not support. And this emptiness machine that you and Mike wrote couldn't be more, again, tone-deaf lyrics with no spine. You guys, I've seen your chat has been so active, but I'm gonna see if we can go through some of these. On the official Discord channel, Linkin Park, they censor the word Scientology, Scientologists, and censorship. Damn, squirreling around. I mean, again, tell me you're not in a cult without telling me you're not in a cult. This is what it looks like when you are in a cult. Censorship is the first thing that a Timu cult leader does. So if this is their official, then damn. My friend in Finland, the most maddest of LP fans I know, she's furious about the DM ties and support. I mean, you know, and imagine she's not only just connected to DM Danny Masterson, she's connected directly to DM David Miscavige. That's why Emily has, for all people that want to come after Jenna Miscavige and go, oh, you really exploited your name, I'm sure it was better for you. Jenna was given no special treatment. But you know who has been given special treatment? Emily. You know who didn't go and become a Sea Org member? Emily. Almost no child that I know ended up in the position that Emily ended up in. Not in the Sea Org because she didn't want to be in it. She already had grown up through the cadet org and she was in her mid-teens. Still underage, still unthinkable, still disgusting. But then she was, you know, sent to hang out with Ben Shulman, another son of another OSA operative. And yes, all these children that have had their entire life and identity devastated because of their disgusting parents doing what in the hell they're doing with food entitlement, with full knowing that they were destroying childhoods. But they don't want to be told that they were doing that. Isn't that interesting how the abusers never want to be told that they were doing anything wrong? They just want to be like, no, we really wanted to save our world. Scientology apologist, or he's a Scientologist, period. I mean, Cajun Jujutology, yeah. Question, did Emily grow up in the hotels when she was a child? Yeah, she grew up at a commercial building, at a desolate commercial building that they had outside of the city of Los Angeles, because they used to house the kids at the hotels here in Los Angeles, but then they started getting in trouble. And Scientology crisis management operation that it is goes, oh, so we're having a lot of trouble here. Let's send them in a desolate place. And that's where Emily, that's where Miriam Francis, that's where Laura, that's where Jenna, all these underage kids at the most vulnerable ages ended up in these child trafficking, cockroach infested, disgusting places for them to have no childhood and for them to be overworked and be treated as slaves as kids. They had no childhood. They had no childhood. T1 advantage. Shinoda was safe pointed years ago. He probably turned over all LP social media platforms to be managed by someone who isn't Scientology. I mean, safe pointed for sure, and maybe even coach on how to disconnect from anyone who opposes your own viewpoint. Because again, you guys, the most hysterical, disgusting things about the L. Ron Hubbard proteges is that they will not listen to anyone else. No one can tell them they're wrong. No one can tell them to dial it back. No one can. They act with full entitlement. They act with full impunity. They act like they really are doing what is right by video recording it, by watching it themselves. Imagine they watch and record video of children being abused, and everyone at the hotel is going, that's what we call religion. So yeah, safe pointing from hell. Serge, did you interact with Emily when you were in Scientology? Yes, when she left the Sea Org, I interacted with Emily. I went to, some of her first Dead Sarah concerts that she was having at the Viper Room and all of that when they were first starting. I mean, again, you guys, like when you grow up in that community of closeness where you cannot relate to anyone outside of that culture because it's been inculcated in you, groomed on you as a child that you cannot speak to anyone outside, and yeah, so we were supporting her back in the day when she was just starting. Literally no one. Good to see you. The LP flap is causing a new wave of people to find out about Scientology and their obscene beliefs. I mean, that is the silver lining in all of this. So, yeah. He's behaving like one squirreling around. If you dare to mention anything about drama with Emily or the official Discord channel of LP, they all attack you very quickly and you get silence. I mean, yeah, because they're following, again, it's like another OSA tactic. I mean, again, this has all the fingerprints of OSA, Celebrity Center's president's office, running the crisis management operation. Again, they safe point anybody. They don't have any real PR people that aren't pro-Scientology, that aren't going to have an outside opinion about what's going on and really see what's going on to really handle things. So yeah, this is giving literally OSA up from hell. Yeah, you guys, I feel you. I feel you in all these comments. I see what you're saying. And yeah, it's very, very, it's very, very hard to have to fathom. Comment question for Emily. If someone is having thoughts of self-harm, do you support them seeking out help from a mental health professional like a psychologist or psychiatrist? Perfect question, Fat Cat's Heaven. Exactly on point. Where would Emily really point someone that is having these type of self-harming behaviors? Because, a PR answer would be like, oh yeah, go get help from whoever. But anybody that they want to influence and stay close to, they'd be like, oh no, let me just get you to the hotel. They really do have programs there that really can help you, that can really resolve this for you. So we're calling that out because that is disgusting. Scientology, people do 2-week courses and then all of a sudden they consider themselves the know-it-alls of know-it-alls. And again, the practices that are groomed through dolls, through practicing everything on teddy bears, couldn't be more disgusting, couldn't be more outrageous. They use teddy bears for a reason. All good groomers do that, by the way. They all use little dolls. Oh, let's really like play pretend. Exactly, literally no one. That is exactly right. It's a literal enterprise. Mischief managed. There was no apology. It was a drivel and it was only posted for, and then she got called out. Exactly. Mischief managed. It's getting called out because we see through our eyes. We're all adults in adult bodies, including Chester's own son, a 28-year-old that literally got on the public record and called out Mike for his behavior. This is really crazy. Like, you're the leader of the band, Mike. Like, understand what your responsibility is in the rollout of how things are getting executed, because you are an adult in an adult body and you should know better. You should have really understand. This is giving you didn't understand the assignment. That's what this is giving. You didn't understand the assignment. You made it about you. You made it about your friendship with Emily. You made it about shoving Emily down everyone's throats who didn't ask for that. Carolina Half, why does she owe us an apology though? Fans are asking for a statement about whether she supports Danny or not based on her attending that one day, and she gives a statement. Caroline, I guess you are too late on what we are discussing. But there's videos where we have discussed in great detail, lucky for you, why Emily owes more than just a statement if she really is vying for a position to do a job that for us, the fans of Chester's legacy, is giving, no one's doing a shred of due diligence. And yes, we can call that out because why would Chester not be owed advocates? Why would we not be able to state our opinion? We're the ones that have supported this band. We can tell them that we understand how they effed up, that we don't like that they're exploiting his legacy. Had they renamed themselves L. Ron Hubbard Way, nobody would be having a problem. Believe you me, Emily and these people are the last people we want to discuss. But given the fact that they did make it about that, then that's what the problem is. Hello, Susan, being a member for 3 months. Thank you so much for your support. Jackie, her apologies enough evidence that she is a Scientologist. She didn't name Danny, nor did she mention the crimes. Plus, she posted it as a story that disappeared in 24 hours. Exactly, Jackie. That's exactly what it is. Like a disappearing apology filled with distancing language. I mean, again, we're owed a lot more than that. Like, things are not going to just clear up given the paid membership that Emily still holds at the hotel. It's not enough that she went to the court and literally was not just there to support Danny and do nothing and just stay in her meek, quiet corner as she's supposed to do when you go to a court of legal proceedings. You're not there to intimidate witnesses. You're not there to chase them down hallways. You're not there to chase them in a bathroom. That's called intimidation. That's called intimidating a witness. That's called illegal, highly illegal behavior. That you don't just say, oh, I was asked to support a friend. That's that part. That's the part. Kyle Vesa, you think Mike didn't talk with her all about this stuff beforehand unless we know exactly what they all talk about, but you really don't know anything unless you weren't actually there. We know what we can contextualize, Kyle. We know what we are calling out on Emily's connections. We're digging underneath this hood, underneath the surface, the minimum bare due diligence that should have been done by tapping her to replace someone that wasn't done. So anybody that wants to have a problem because due diligence wasn't done, because nobody bothered to check anything, because it's giving nobody really gave an F. So we're stating our opinion. We're contextualizing what we want to contextualize. Anybody that doesn't want to hear how we contextualize things, unsubscribe, leave, bye-bye. No one is here. We're not in a cult. Everyone can sign out. Everyone can unsubscribe. Everyone can do whatever the hell you want to do. But what no one can do is come and tell us, the kids that grew up in Scientology, that are literally disgusted that Emily's still there supporting all the child abuse that she took on herself as a child, and today she has no problem calling any of that out. That's going to be a problem going forward with all the people that are doing this. As of the year 2024, if you're supporting child abusing hotels, you are going to be called out. You are going to be asked to defend that. Where's their defense for all the child trafficking that was perpetrated on us? Because that's what, some of you really should be concerning yourselves with. Where is the defense for that? Why are you more pressed about an apology that people are not wanting to accept, given that it was BS? I mean, again, you guys, we're not here to convince people of what common sense is. Y'all can make your own decisions. We're not in a cult. If you don't like it, bye-bye. Javier Martinez, Mike needs to have a new name for his new band. Correct, Mike. Mike can't say he didn't know about Emily being a Scientology enabler. What a shame. And she's not replacing Chester. I mean, again, you guys, this problem would go away if they would have named themselves L. Ron Hubbard Way as a band and tapped Emily. Then we would have been like, makes sense. Sing whatever thing you want to sing, do whatever tour you want to do. But you're going to be called L. Ron Hubbard Way, not Linkin Park. And you're not going to sing Chester songs. So come up with your own fake songs that you're writing about, oh yeah, you really cut me open and left me bleeding. A real joke for all the kids that were cut open, that were abused in unthinkable, disgusting ways inside of the hotels where all manner of people are playing dumb still as of the year 2024. Canal, because I'm Mexican, I pronounce things the way I pronounce them. I speak 4 languages, so pronunciation is not my forte. Most parents would have disconnected had their child not wanting to be in the Sea Org. Literally. Just bring these things from 30 years ago that about Emily does not make sense to you. Well, I'm glad that it doesn't make sense to you, Canal, because I guess you have not watched and you're not informed about what's currently taking place at the Scientology hotels. So if you don't know, then you don't want to know, because the information is there. Just Google it. Start actually taking your own deep dive and come up to your own conclusions instead of projecting that we're bringing up things from 30 years ago. Every single abuse that took place with us as children 30 years ago is still going on right now. So before you really go, there's nothing to advocate for. The children have never been advocated. All the children that are stuck in the Scientology hotels today have no advocates. So by all means, suggest a better way to do it. We're open to it. Amy, I have to interject for Mike. He's an unbelievably kind person. I can never turn on him. He grieved Chester with fans and turned his tremendous loss into a conversation about MH that saved my life. Amy, no one is telling you to turn on anybody. We are simply discussing our own personal opinion, having been the kids that were being abused and trafficked while Linkin Park was singing songs that saved our life at the time as well, mind you. We were listening to those songs, relating to the way that Chester was delivering that music. If Mike is very kind and Mike is very great, I'm sure he can be kind and great. But we are calling him out on the fact that Chester's own son was disconnected from, and all the points that Chester's son made are, quite frankly, things that Mike should take a look at. You know, this idea that telling people the truth and the facts is an attack is only something that any type of literal, person that doesn't want to change would really be projecting on that being a problem. We're telling Mike what it is. He didn't do the due diligence. He didn't bother to check. He didn't bother to dig further into what he was doing at best. Or best he knew, like Chester's son already called him out on. He already knew that Emily was bestie westies with all of the Danny Masterson clan. She grew up there. They were the first people that when she left the hotels being child trafficked by her mother, landed there, and those were her allies. So yeah, all of that is in the context of it. And no one is asking anyone to turn on anything. We are demanding answers from grown men and grown women in public positions that are steering conversations going in the wrong place. So no one's asking to do anything about, I'm not questioning his grieving. I'm not questioning anything. I'm questioning his choices today. I don't question his grieving, but I do question his choices today. Lulu, religions don't include abuse. Exactly, Lulu. Any religion in the world. You guys, again, the difference between Scientology and religions, just so everybody can really quickly understand what the problem is with Scientology. Religion is based on theology. Books that are written in ways that can be interpreted and said in a million ways. Scientology has technology. Nothing can be interpreted. Nothing can be questioned. Nothing can be altered. Nothing can be changed. Nothing can be reined back. Nothing can be diluted. Nothing can be nothing. So that's not a religion. Something that is being done like that, technology and theology are not the same thing. And Scientology's technology is technology that tortures children. Whoever child ends up in a role play with an adult, being told that they cannot leave the room unless the adult allows them to, ends up in a position of being kidnapped, which is a literal criminal act. So enough with this idea that children are having religious experiences, because exactly like what you say here, Lulu, religions is not abuse. What did Scientology do to me? Don't diss my ability. I was born in this. Don't diss my ability. I was born in this as a child. I grew up being abused in the Mexican version of the commercial building and hotels that they had. Very, very young. I was neglected. I literally had a whole story, and you can check my YouTube channel. So I really get into the details of what kids are going through, because that's what we're advocating against, is what kids are going through today. Is what no advocate said when we were stuck at the hotel, given that everybody was going with the pitch, they must be having a religious experience for themselves. Nobody made a case that children should not have been exposed when we were getting exposed willy-nilly by, again, adults that knew what we were going to get exposed to, but all decided as a collective that abusing kids was a religious experience that all grown adults had for themselves. That fake delusion is being questioned in the year 2024, literally across the boards. And yes, Canal, everybody makes mistakes, but that's not the way you solve this. By all means, open up your own YouTube channel and start solving it the way you want. That's what you should be doing. Open up your YouTube channel and start telling the audience, your opinion about how it should be handled. If you were not in Scientology, if you don't know what we're talking about, that's fine. You don't have to take you are free to make your own case. You are free to discuss it in any way you want. No one is going to control you. Again, we're not in a cult. So you can do whatever. You can say whatever, open up your own channel and discuss it. Mac Ramble on, no more excuses for Hollyweird people. They may minimize Scientology, but definitely know it's problematic. I guarantee they weighed in on the liability before final decision on her and never expected people to learn the background. I mean, Mac Ramble on, that's the problem, right? It's like they've been getting away for so long because people didn't understand what was happening. You didn't have firsthand witnesses being able to have a platform to expose the facts, to raise flags and alarms, given our level of familiarity. In order for you to be able to investigate something, you have to be familiar with the facts. If you don't understand the facts, it's very easy to be gaslit. Ask all the corporate media that has never stepped foot inside of the hotels, that has never gotten an audit for themselves, that want to write all about it, but wouldn't even know what in the hell they're writing about, because all they write about is whatever they were told by the adults was a problem. And you know what? Every time that the adults have been given all the oxygen, they just suck it up, make it all about themselves, and advocate for no change of children being abused. So the same things that are being done at the hotels when we were getting abused as children are all the things that no one is repudiating. So I couldn't agree with you more. And Hollywood is up to their neck and ears. They're best buddies with Scientology. Literally best buddies. All the top agencies, PR agencies, entertainment agencies, all of them are in bed with Scientology. All of them. All of them that have any talent worth anything that are in the Scientology orbit. Ahmad, why people think that Linkin Park replaced Chester? Why won't they say Emily revives his memory? Her voice is strong and amazing. Chester would be proud to see his legacy is saved. I know, Ahmad, but you have to really, you really have to catch up. You really have to catch up, so you really kind of, make points that make a little more sense. And no one is literally saying that no one is even going to critique her voice. We're not even there. That doesn't even matter. Again, given the fact that Emily's alliance, long life, paid membership alliance to the hotels today. Again, for all of you who think this is a religion like any other, you cannot be a member of this place if you don't have a paid membership. So before anybody wants to say that she's not part of it, she has a paid membership to it. So by all means, how is she not part of it if she's a paid member to it as a grown adult today? So she's funding all the abuses that we are sounding the alarm code red on about, all the practices Scientology delivers to kids that end kids in harm's way. That's all. It ends with a billion-year contract. The beardist atheist. I mean, billion-year. Why are children being made to sign billion-year contracts? I mean, that'd be really great to know. Right, Chester? I mean, right, guys? Aparte de todo ese odio culminado en tirar su propia vida. Sure. Exactly, Easy B. This is exactly the point. Emily can be the change. She has many places to turn, so don't pretend like she doesn't know where to go and she can receive help from. Emily is a grown woman today that has access to the outside world. She's not being kept hostage at the hotel with her passport locked up in the way that they did to us as children. So for all of you that are new to the Scientology story, breaking news. We were told as 12-year-olds that we were going to be signing a contract to be volunteers. 12 years old. Really write down that age number. At 15 years old, we were already ensnared inside of the hotel with our passport locked up, being child trafficked. That's it. That's all. And, Emily can be announcing that at any time. She could denounce it at any time. She's being invited to confront the facts and repudiate them. Because again, it's unthinkable, it's disgusting, and we hope that this ends. That's all we can hope, that no more kids are stuck at the Scientology hotels. Well, you guys, there's so many questions and comments. I really appreciate all your time. I appreciate you caring, and I appreciate all of you who are joining us on this road of advocating for kids, on advocating for change. There cannot be more kids stuck inside of the Scientology hotels. It's a travesty. It's a stain on the consciousness of this country that purported with its constitution that slavery was abolished. And yet, child slavery was made great again by convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard and his band of sycophants, proteges, paid adult proteges of a convicted felon that continue to be goo gaga, that treat us if they're children, treated us if like, okay, well, you want to believe whatever. BS. If you're an adult that is adopting hardcore beliefs that land children in systemic institutional harm's way, then you people need to be stopped and told to stop abusing underage kids. That's what this is about. It's to raise awareness and so that we don't see all these repeated horrific things that have gone on for way too long. For way too long, there's been all manner of styling tactics, all manner of PR tactics, all manner of fake statements provided by to the corporate gullible media that has been sanitizing the image of what Scientology is, sanitizing the image of our parents that placed us in harm's way, that gave our personal identification, passports, and documents to hotel executives that kept us locked up against our will without the ability to consent. Happening in Florida, happening in California, happening all across state lines. So this is a very, very widespread federal issue that we are advocating for a day where no more kids are going to be enslaved in the way we were. So we'll continue covering this. There's so much more to talk about, you guys. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys really soon.